Welcome, boys and girls, to Decimals Tuition video series. We're on part 4. This is the final video on Decimals Tuition. So it's series of 4, and we'll jump straight into the whiteboard. Okay, so probably going to do 2 pages from the book, the Life Changing Tuition Maths 11 Plus Maths Guide. You can get that available from our website or on Amazon directly. So today we're going to do 3 topics, but we're going to cover 2 pages from the book. First one is ordering decimals or comparing decimals. How do you know if one decimal is bigger than the other? Okay, so we'll go through that. Okay, let's start off with the example in the book. So we want to compare 0.3, 0.302 or 0.3.2, which is bigger. Now, first, so it's got some steps here. So first thing you do is line up the decimal points, and then the second step, fill any gaps with zeros. So we're going to do each of these. We'll do this step here and this step here. So if we line up the decimal points, so 0.302 and 0.32, notice that we've lined up the decimal points. Just to make it a bit clearer, we're going to put this as units, this as the 10th column, this as the 100th column, and this as the 1000th column. Okay. And notice the decimal point is lined up there. Okay. So now, so it's decimal points lined up here. Okay. Okay, right. So that's the first step. So put a tick on there. The second step is fill any gaps with zeros. So we have a gap right here. So we'll color that as 0, put a 0 there. Now we can compare. We'll say call this as A, B, A, B. Now we can compare which is bigger, A or B. Well, A is really 0.302 and B is 0.320. Which is bigger? B, because 320 is bigger than 302. So this is bigger. As simple as that. So remember those 2 steps. Line up the decimal point and fill in the gaps and zeros. And we use the same 2 steps when we're adding and subtracting decimals. Okay, let's move on. Let's do fractions to decimals. How do we do that? So let's say we've got here. It's fractions to decimals, this one here. So let's say we've got an example. 3/4. We want to change that fraction 3/4 into a decimal. How do we do that? Well, the first thing we do is to know that this is the numerator, or the top number, and this is the denominator. Bottom, okay? And that, in between that, is a dividing sign. So it's really top divided by bottom. So it'd be 3. Remember, the first number goes inside the house. We did that in the last video. Divided by 4. How many 4s go into 3? And we do a bus stop method. How many 4s go into 3? We can't do. So you put a 0 and a decimal point. That decimal point gives you special powers. The ability to add a 0 to make the number bigger whenever you need to. We need to make the number bigger, so that decimal point gives us special powers to add a 0. So we can make it 30. How many 4s go into 30? 7. Remainder 2. Now, how many 4s are going to 2? We can't do, but that decimal point down here gives us special powers. Yeah, special powers. What's that special powers? It's the ability to add a 0. Add a 0 whenever we need to. So let's add another 0. So now how many 4s go into 20? It's 5. Remainder 0. And that's your answer, 0.75. Okay, let's just do one more just to make sure we really understand it. Let's say we wanted to convert 3/5 into a decimal. So it'd be 3 divided by 5, top number divided by 5. So 3 goes inside the house, 5 goes outside. Remember, the first number goes inside, regardless whether it's big or small. And then you go, how many 5s going to 3? 0. Decimal point gives you what special powers? The ability to add a 0. How many 5s going to 30? 6. And that's the answer. Okay, last section here is decimals to fractions. So we want to convert, as an example, is it 4.32? Let's do 0.32 first. Let's say, as an example, we want to convert that into a fraction. Well, first thing we do is we put the column headings on the top. So this is the units, this is the tenths, this is the hundredths. And then what we do, we look at the last digit, which is 2, and it's sitting in the hundredth column. So this tells us that the bottom number, the denominator, is going to be 100, because that's where the last column is. So let's put that there. Okay, that goes there. Okay, and then we take the second, we take this whole behind the decimal point and put it at the top. So it's 32. And that's it. 0.32 equals 32 over 100. Let's do the one example in the book. Let's say we've got 4.32. Again, put the column headings, units, tenths, hundredths. And we take the last 2 is in the hundredth column, so put that in as a bottom number, 100. And we take this whole number behind, put it at the top, 32. Now what to do the 4? The 4 goes at the side, making it a mixed fraction. And that's the answer, 32 over 100. And that's it. And that's decimal division video, decimal videos completed. We're now going to the next topic.